Hello everyone, and happy Halloween or Hallow's End, and welcome to my first ever top list video. Most of the time I am doing a speculation on what could come next as far as an expansion, or a patch, or really anything as far as World of Warcraft goes. But in this video, I will just be listing the 5 things I want for the next expansion. And since BlizzCon is nearing ever so closely, I figured why not make a list on what I would like to see. With that all said and done, let's get right into this. Number 5. Development on older characters. In World of Warcraft, there's an abundance of characters. It's pretty awesome whenever Blizzard adds in something completely new, or remembers to throw a race leader into an expansion or a storyline. Even recently, they did their best to reintroduce older characters into the class campaigns. But they also seem to ignore or forget about characters from older expansions or even the RTS Warcraft games. So I propose that Blizzard brings into the picture the much older characters from both factions into the storylines. One good example that they did recently with Legion was with Turalyon and Illyria. They just need to continue that with both factions. With characters like, let's say Rexxar for example. By now you know that I love Rexxar a lot. I mean, come on now. Rexxar, who hasn't been really utilized in his own story yet, could be utilized in a new zone or some kind of new questline. He was featured momentarily in the Hunter campaign, but was barely given much of a spotlight, or barely featured at all. Blizzard needs to find a means to introducing those types of characters back into the fray again, as they are beloved to many of us, and I know many people would want to see one of their favorite characters in the current storyline. Which this could be easily solved with the next thing on this list. Number 4. Race campaigns. Some of you are either really confused by this title or intrigued, or you know exactly what I am referring to. Allow for me to elaborate. So recently, Blizzard did a pretty amazing job with the diversity of class campaigns. Everybody got a chance to shine or receive some pretty awesome weapons, mounts, transmogs, and either a really amazing story or a pretty meh one. Basically what I'm getting at here is Blizzard should do this again, but instead of classes as the focus, instead do so with races. How many times does this happen to you? You're playing the World of Warcraft, and you love the current story that's happening with the insert threat here. But your favorite race, the Tauren or the Gnomes, aren't focused at all in the expansion. By adding in a race campaign, Blizzard can focus on your character's race and give them a good idea of their cultures, who your leader is, this is especially important with the trolls, and even develop them, or even introduce new or old characters of that race into your very own story, of uniting your people, or finally avenging Karen by killing that witch Magatha. I think it would be very beneficial and really cool to introduce as the next big thing for the next expansion. It worked well with their whole champion feature as well, that has been with us since Warlords of Draenor. Plus, they can finally update all of our racial mounts with the current graphics, and give us some sick-looking weapons and armor for transmog. Who else wants to have a badass-looking Tauren cloak with a Horde or Alliance symbol on it, or with your race's symbol on it? I sure as heck do. Number 3. Return to the faction war. Now, this is a very mixed topic. Some people really enjoy the faction war, while other people do not. And some people are right in the middle. I'm pretty much right in the middle of it, as I do enjoy it when it makes sense to the story, but when it is pushed into my face and it makes little sense at all, then I tend to really not like it. However, for this video, it'll be a sense of story. I really enjoyed the sense of conflict and war between each of the sides in Mists of Pandaria, which is my favorite expansion, and even in Cataclysm. And I would love for that to happen again, but just very differently. In Legion, the faction war was pretty absent or wasn't really the focus, which was a shame in my opinion. Yeah, we're fighting together to face the Legion, and nothing is wrong with that element, either, but I would love to see a new faction war begin to blossom like we did in Stormheim, while also focusing on the Legion threat, or in this case, the new threat. But in this next expansion, the focus should be there, and it should be something we've not yet seen before. The Alliance for once taking the offensive, and the Horde going on the defensive. How many times has it been that the Horde causes the issues, and the Alliance are typically painted as the goodies? We need to have a divide for the Alliance, and a unitization for the Horde. But I'm a biased Horde YouTuber, so of course I'm going to be asking for the good stuff for the Horde. But you Alliance guys could get an amazing story with the vision of your people, very similar to the Siege of Orgrimmar and the Garrosh story, but the sides are switched and the story will be done very differently. I don't know, I just want to see the drums of war thundering again between each side. Number 2. Customization / subraces. Now for me this goes in hand with a lot that I've said already. I just really want to focus on the current races and the factions in this expansion. We got some really nice models in Warlords of Draenor, and they still look amazing. But you know how they can make them even better? Give us some more customization options for our characters. New hairstyles, new skins, new eye colors allow us to change how large or small we are. Make it possible for people who want to be more rounded. Make those who want to be skinny as they can be. Just a lot of amazing options they could do here. And I would love for the ability to give tattoos on our character's body. Finally give Bane his white Horde tattoo on his shoulder, Blizzard. And his own unique model as well, of course. Let us give our characters some much needed battle scars like the Demon Hunters and the Pandaren can have near their eyes or their bodies. Going with the other thing I mentioned, let players customize even further with the option of subraces. Subraces, for those who do not know, are another version of your race, but vastly different in shape and color. The best examples would be the Mag'har Orcs, the Brown Orcs, and the Dark Iron Dwarves. Both are really different looking, but still hold the same skeleton as their race, which they could even get their own starting zone experience, or just let them happen naturally. Or you could earn it or something. So many people would be delighted to play as another variant of their race, and there would be so many examples to throw into here. Luckily, there has been a recent update with WoW Model Viewer where there are subraces possibly being shown, but we don't know yet. I might actually play the other races if we're presented with so many means of making ourselves look so much more unique. I love the idea of subraces, and I would love to have more ways to customize my character with the features I said priorly. Number 1. New races. Now, there are many races in the world of Warcraft that people would want to play, as either in the Horde or the Alliance, and in Mr. Pandaria, we honestly could have had the Pandaren for both sides, and the Jinyu for the Alliance, and the Hosen for Horde, but we just got one of those things, which at the time, and even today, I am perfectly fine with. But to have a single race for both sides again, I think would be a big waste. I however do not mind the neutral system they have going for it, which is why I present the idea of 2 new races that can decide to be Horde or Alliance, very similar to the Hwaugen and the Twaushi Pandaren. They would have split groups that could join either side. This way you could have 2 new races for the next expansion, but because of their original neutral standing, could join the Alliance or the Horde. Again, there's a number of races they could do, and even if they don't do this whole 2 new neutral races for both factions, they could do what they did in Cataclysm or the Burning Crusade. As for the 2 new races I would like there to be Ogres for Horde and Vrykul for the Alliance. Both have similar histories with the Orcs and the Humans, and both are tall, massive hulks of strength that would benefit both the Horde and the Alliance rather equally. Plus, they'd go both well with the Horde and the Alliance aesthetics, with bruteful but powerful for the Horde, while the Alliance could get a mixture of both something bruteful yet noble, and it's one of the Titanforge races, which the Alliance mostly consists of. I just would really like to see Ogres as a playable race. Were we given 2 new neutral races, or just 1 neutral race, I would love to play an Ethereal or a Naga. Both are pretty awesome and fitting to join our cause, though I see Ethereals being the more likely. Plus, I just like them a lot more. I'd much rather see the new races per faction, but that is my own preference. I just really want to play ogres. But these are just my thoughts on things I'd like to see in the next expansion. Maybe we'll get none of these, maybe we'll get some of these, and maybe we'll get all of these. Who knows? Anyways, I'm Skull Shorties, and thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like my videos, or even share them. But until next time, my friends, I will see you all at BlizzCon, my friend Dorinos. The hype is real. By the way, I'm not actually attending BlizzCon, I'll be using the virtual ticket. See ya!